Just before the creation of the American Constitution, the threat from the Algerian Navy was used as a way to push states' delegates to ratify it. In this video, we'll explore historical documents to see how some supported this approach while others opposed it. Assalamu alaikum. This is one of the episodes of our glorious Algerian history. Let's start with a short introduction. Up to the middle of the 18th century, there were many parts of America under the rule of the British, the French, and the Spanish. After the Independence Declaration in 1776, these three powers retreated from America based on the Paris Treaty in 1783. Some states surfaced on the scene without any central control. They tried to cooperate between each other, and later they also tried to unite under the Articles of Confederation. It took until March 1st, 1781, for all 13 states to ratify the Articles. This system created a league of friendship among the sovereign states with a weak central government. After a few years, they faced some weaknesses and issues of applying this treaty on the ground. Some of the issues they faced: not being able to collect taxes uniformly, and not being able to stop rebellions, disorders, or anarchists. After that, the state delegates met in Philadelphia in 1787, and they wrote a draft for a new constitution to unite the states. The delegates started to seek ratification by the counties and states. The battle of ratification continued with debate sessions, speeches, and newspaper articles for several years until it was ratified by 1790 under a new unified country called the United States of America. Around that time, and just before the new constitution was ratified, in August 1785, Algeria declared war on the disunited states. This is, I guess, one of the reasons that the fear of Algeria was instrumented to hasten the creation of the American Constitution. Let's look at the historical evidence to check that one of the reasons of ratifying the new constitution was the fear of being raided by Algerians. Let's start from here. In 1940, the American historian Thomas Bailey published his book, A Diplomatic History of the American People. He literally said here, in an indirect sense, the brutal Dey of Algiers was a founding father of the Constitution, which means the existential threat caused by the Algerian Navy was an indispensable driver for unifying the states and drafting the Constitution. It can't be more clear than that. In a recent contemporary publication by the British-American author and journalist Christopher Hitchens, titled Jefferson versus the Muslim Pirates, he said on Algeria, many delegates, urging their home state to endorse a new document, meaning the new constitution, argued that only a strong federal union could repel the Algerian threat. Are there more? Yes, there are. This is a book about the debate on the adoption of the Constitution. It's the volume 3 and we're in 1787. It says here, I ask if the most petty of those princes, even the Dey of Algiers, were to make a war upon us, if the other states of Europe keeps a neutrality, whether we should not be reduced to the greatest distress? Is it not in the power of any maritime power to seize our vessels and destroy our commerce with impunity? A clear indication that if we don't unite, even a petty prince like the Dey of Algiers would be able to put us in serious trouble without facing any consequences. Even though he mentioned the Dey as petty, he's still mentioning him and not any other prince, which shows the sense of his danger. This is an article in a weekly magazine in the US, published on April 3, 1788, urging the states to ratify the new constitution. It says here, by this incomparable system of federal government, you will be shortly enabled to take your rank among the nations of the world, and the American flag rescued from the oblivion, which some time since seemed to threaten it. You are now coerced by a set of petty tyrants. Who are those tyrants? It says here at the bottom, the Algerians. So he's trying to transform the Algerian threat from a mere external threat into an existential threat to force America to choose between the Constitution or the collapse, and in the way, portraying the Algerians as tyrants who want to enslave the Americans and cripple their commerce. The author states clearly, the Constitution is the only permanent mean to save the nation from those tyrants, or the Algerians. Should we continue? Let's check out some more articles. This is a speech by John Jay, one of the framers of the Constitution, which means he played a key role in creating or drafting the United States Constitution. He says, but let us be under one vigorous government, and within a few years the Algerians themselves will stand in awe of the brave and enterprising American. Is there anything clearer than this? This confirms that the fear of Algeria was one of the driver or was used to drive the ratification of the new constitution. Hugh Williamson, a delegate to the Constitutional Convention of 1787 and one of its signatories, said, What is there to prevent the Algerian pirates from landing on your coast and carrying your citizens into slavery? You have not a single sloop of war. It gives a glimpse on the actual Algerian status in that time, and this is from their books. In this article published in New York, Alexander Hamilton, one of the strong advocates of the Constitution Project, wrote mocking New York's delegates because of the resistance of the Constitution Project and the refusal to unite with the other states. He told them, "If the city is independent, it would erect for us fortifications, effectually to secure our property from Algeria's pirates." This is one of the American founding fathers, and he used to say it plainly: being away from the Constitution will not be able to be protected from Algeria. This is a document from 1787, which we saw above, bringing up a completely different view on considering Algeria as a threat to America. This view is making jokes about the threats the other side is using to speed up and push the states to ratify the Constitution. It says here, "We are now told by the Honorable Gentleman, Governor Randolph, that we shall have wars and rumors of wars, that every calamity is to attend us, and that we shall be ruined and disunited forever, unless we adopt this Constitution. Pennsylvania and Maryland are to fall upon us from the north, like the Goths and Vandals of the old. The Algerians, whose flat-sided vessels never came further than the Madeira, are to fill the Chesapeake with mighty fleets, and to attack us on our front. The Indians are to invade us with numerous armies in our rear, in order to convert our cleared lands into hunting grounds, and the Carolinians from the south, mounted on alligators, I presume, are to come and destroy our cornfields and eat up our little children." This shows that some delegates were against the argument of considering Algeria as a threat, and they believe that it is exaggerated and falsely used. And this is also from the same document, and it also shows the resistance of using Algeria as a threat to hasten the ratification of the Constitution. It says here, "Shall we be told that we shall be attacked by Algerians, and that disunion will take place unless we adopt it?" This shows that some delegates thought that the used argument of Algeria's threat is exaggerated, yet the question was part of the debate. In this book, The Documentary History of the Ratification of the Constitution, in the part related to New York, we find this letter by Claverack in April 4th, 1788, and he's anti-federalist. He said in this part that we found in your journal some arguments and reasons why we should ratify this Constitution, and then he said about the writer of this article, "It in one part strongly favors of the egregious terror he is in of the Algerians, affording reasonable foundation of conjecture that his ideas must be confused when his perturbed brain suggested the communication of his unconnected sentences and their unfounded principles." It shows clearly that there was some fear of the Algerians. It's even expressed by Claverack as terror. This is an American poet engaged in raising the awareness of ratifying the Constitution. He said in July 8, 1788 in his poem, "Before the flag on foreign seas displayed, the barbarous Algerians shall fall dismayed." The Americans knew that the Algerian navy power was the obstacle, and if they can go beyond it, they can control the world. In the political poems of that period, we read, "While the day of Algiers, sirs, so haughty is grown, that he swears by the prophet, the world's all his own." In simpler terms, the day is so arrogant that he acts like he owns the world, and he even swears it on something sacred to show how seriously he believes it. I hope this is an addition to your historic knowledge.